All right. Good morning, afternoon, if you're watching this at a later time. We are going to get started on today's lesson, which is working with the coordinate system in wonderful AutoCAD. But before we get started with the actual activity, we need to go through some words so we're familiar with them when I use them throughout the lesson. So, first thing that we need to talk about are polar coordinates. When we talk about polar coordinates, you're required to provide distance and a degree measurement. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that polar coordinates represent a distance from 0, 0 and a degree measure from 0 degrees, always assuming that it's going counterclockwise. All right, so that's pretty straightforward. If I look down here, this should help clear it up. So when I think about polar coordinates, this line is 13. So when I type this into AutoCAD, I specified my point at 0, 0. I said go 13 units out and then go 22.6 degrees up from 0 to create this line. That's what I would have done with a polar degree. So now what I want you to do is highlight this part, because when you're in AutoCAD, when you're entering in polar coordinates, you're always going to say the distance. You're going to tab over and then give the degree measure. That's how you're going to enter it, and we're going to see that in the lesson today. So now let's talk about Cartesian degree coordinates. These are what we like. These are traditional. I don't know why I did past tense. This requires X and Y coordinates. So it represents a specific coordinate on the, I'm going to say, normal, or what they call the Cartesian grid. So when I'm in AutoCAD, I'm going to always have to press hashtag to activate that. I'm going to give my X coordinate. I'm going to tab over, so then I can get my Y coordinate. All right, go ahead and put that in. If it helps, you can type in AutoCAD input here equals this. I'm going to shift home, copy, Control V to paste, just to make my life easier. All right, let's get that down. All right, cool. So now that I have told you the difference between polar and Cartesian, right? Polar, the distance away from 0, and the degree up from 0 degrees, right? Cartesian coordinates are telling me the X value from 0, 0, and then the Y value from 0, 0. So essentially, I can give you a point in multiple different ways, but we're only going to deal with Cartesian. So now when we deal with Cartesian, we're only going to recognize those coordinates using either relative or absolute coordinates. So what do I mean when I say relative? Relative actually represents the distance from the previous position. It's not always 0, 0. Let's say if my new point that I'm starting at is 12, 5. If I put into relative coordinates, then I might say that I wanted 5 away and 2 up, right? I'm telling you the distance from the previous point. So it's similar. No, it's not similar. It is exactly like a translation in geometry. So when I translated, translation gave me X. It gave me something X plus a number and then y plus a number, right? And that told me that I was going to go to the right or the left if it was negative from x, and to up or down if it was y. So if I think about a translation, if I'm telling you to translate something where x is going to the right by 3, and then y is going down by 4, then how that looks like in AutoCAD is I would say at 3, comma, negative 4, period. Let's do another one. If I were to say translate x minus 1 and then y plus 6, right? What that's going to equal to in AutoCAD is I'm going to hit the at sign. Then I'm going to say negative 1 and then positive 6. Put some parentheses around these if you need to know that that's separate. And then actually let me put my plus signs so that I know this is a sequence of commands. Meaning if I'm in the computer, I'm going to hit at, then 3, then there's a tab, and then negative 4. So again, at, then negative 1, then there's a tab, then I'm going to press 6. Right? That's how I would input this in AutoCAD. If you need that reminder, type this here, AutoCAD input. All right, so now absolute coordinates. This is what we use the most. These simply represent the exact coordinates on a grid. So if I'm talking about AutoCAD input, if you tell me something is at 0.57, then how that translates into AutoCAD is I'm going to do hashtag, because I'm going to activate my absolute coordinates. Hashtag tells the computer that, all right, think about where 0, 0 is. And I'm going to say 5, tab, 7. This is important for you to know that you're going to be tabbing a lot to go between x and y values. You're just going to have to remember to do tab and not comma. Comma is going to confuse you down the line if you press it too many times. All right, so these are the notes that I should have in this section. Go ahead and slide down to the next video portion. These are extra videos in case you want to get a better understanding. You're not at all, article in a video, excuse me. You're not at all required to. It is just for future reading if you'd like it. Now you're going to go here and you're going to click on this link here that's going to pull the video on how to do the example.